We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch because our daddies was in prison.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amoli, aka Petite Diva, and in this video we are discussing black men and going to college. Now, some people had reasons why black men are not going to college. They say it's a valid reason. Some people think that black men should go to college. Now, this video is based off of a bit of some statistics that say that black men are not really going to college. So we're going to find out why some black men are deciding not to go to college and why some black men feel like black men should go to college. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now let's get into this video.
We did not go to college because we was too busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch because our daddies was in prison because y'all kept putting shit in the street to make sure they went to prison so that we could not afford lunch, so that we therefore could not afford college. So if you would please shut the fuck up, worried about why we didn't go to college. Thank you. Busy trying to figure out how to pay for lunch because our daddies was in prison.
I hate to agree with a man, but the brothers are right. Nobody was supporting the black boys going to college. If you were not on an athletic full scholarship track, nobody's paying attention to you. It doesn't matter if you were a B or C plus student, you were not getting the attention from administrators, counselors, or your parents to be on a college track. And I'm telling you this because I went to a 99.9% black high school that supported all the students in making some postgraduate decisions, whether it was going to college on a full scholarship, whether academic or athletic, or going to the military. They had a recruiter in there every single week at the last semester of senior year, recruiting the boys and the girls. I can say now as an adult, if you were not an athletic person, athletic young man, people were not paying attention if you were going to college. They were not telling you what scholarships are available. And that's just the truth about it. Not even to take into account what was happening in people's households. I grew up in a very chaotic household, and college for me as a black woman whose father was serving 15 plus years and growing up with a single mom who had her own mental health issues, college was my escape. I wanted to go to hair school, but I knew that if I went to hair school, I had to stay at home. And so I knew I was going to run to college to get away from my living environment to make a future for myself. But that's because I was ingrained in my head in high school because of counselors, mentors, administrators, and teachers who actually cared to pour those options into me. And so when we talk about why the boys are not going to college, if you are not on a full scholarship athletic track, they're not paying the young boys any attention. And if you are that pro football player, but you don't get that full scholarship by January, February of senior year, people are tossing you to the side. They don't care what the hell happens to you. So let's stop gaslighting the guys and start really figuring out how can we better support the young men that are going from high school and transitioning into the real world. Because the T is we're not supporting them, and that's just the truth.
I don't really want to participate in this conversation much because there's a lot that I don't necessarily agree with, but this right here that he talked about, I can't necessarily stand behind that because there's so many young black girls that went through the same things young black boys went through, but they still excelled in getting their bachelor's, their master's, their doctorates, their PhD, and further certifications. I personally just don't feel like this is an accurate reason at all. Honestly, I feel like it was more of an excuse than anything. No disrespect to that man, but it did kind of sound like an excuse. But also a part of this argument that I really don't agree with is that, oh, trade school isn't good enough. In my personal opinion, I feel like trade school is better than college, if I'm being 1000% honest with you. Because if you're not going to college to be a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of other reasons to go to college, like social work and other things. But going directly to school for a trade, like for the exact thing that you want to do, and then getting out of school and getting right into that job field, I feel like is a much better option. You don't waste a year doing undergraduate studies, which is something that you're not going to school for. You know, you're getting right to the nitty gritty. What am I paying you for? Teach me how to do what I'm paying for, and then so I can graduate in less than a year and get my job and move on. To me, that's just a much better option. And lastly, this last thing is just a personal observation, something that I've seen multiple different times, but I genuinely feel like young black boys or young black men aren't pushed to do more and excel more and reach higher levels of education like young black girls are. Like, I literally seen a young black man face minor inconveniences, like minor inconveniences when it came to getting higher education and going to college and stuff. And literally his mom just told him to go home. Like, she was like, okay, like, you're having a hard time, just come home. Just come home, just forget all about that. Like, just come home, work a job, and you can just stay with me. And that's exactly what he did. And he never went to college. He just worked and lived with his mom. She was a boy mom. So if that helps explain anything.
I have 5 siblings, 5 black brothers, and I am the only one to go and finish college out of all of them. Dad on drugs, in and out of jail. Mom on drugs, got taken away from them, placed in foster care until my aunt and uncle retrieved me. I had to stop playing sports in high school because my aunt tried to force me to watch my little brother. I said, that is not my child. I'm going to go get a job instead. When it came to college, I filled out my FAFSA. I did have to ask my aunt and uncle a couple questions, but I filled it out. I submitted it. My mom passed away a few weeks before I got to college. I did get Pell Grants because I used the income of my mom and dad of $0, but I also did have to get student loans on top of that. When I got to college, I decided to pick up track and cross country. Never ran it a day in my life, but I figured, hey, why not? Mind you, when you're running track and cross country, you're running throughout the entire school year. You don't get a break. I did not have a scholarship at first, which means that I did not have extra money, which means that I had a job. Not only was I a full-time student, I was also a full-time athlete, and while everybody else was dilly-dallying, I had to go to work. I also did not have a car my entire college era. My people did not pay for me to go to college, and that aunt who had me stop doing sports in high school, she also wanted me to drop out of college to watch my little brother. I don't know if black men were trying to go to Ivy League schools or D1 schools, and I'm not telling you to go to college or not to go to college, but I will say I went from a JUCO to a D2 school, and the points that y'all are making are just excuses.
So at black colleges, a stubborn gender enrollment gap keeps growing. Only 19% of students at Howard University are black men. 19%, whose enrollment levels at four-year colleges have plummeted across the board. What do y'all think about that, y'all? Let's talk about it. Let's talk. Because I'm a black woman, so of course I'm college graduated. I feel like most of us are. We get depressed and we get another damn certificate, another damn diploma, everything. But what is the discrepancy when it comes to black men and going to four-year colleges? And of course, there's obviously so many jobs. Even here on TikTok, you can create a career without having to go to a four-year college. It's totally obvious.
Why are they not going?
There are situations where you should have a full education. And a lot of times people go to four-year colleges just for an extension of, networking, building relationships at that particular age in your life where it's very crucial. So you're not going straight from high school into a job. Then, of course, the student loans, they still eating me up. But yeah, honestly, I'm ready to blame them podcast mics and Twitch and all of that. And I say that as someone whose career is in social media. But I graduated in 2014. Social media as a career was not a thing like that back then. So I have my degree in communications, luckily. And with the degree in communications, I have knowledge in journalism, writing, marketing, all of those things that I have done in my career since I've graduated. And I'm still an advocate for getting your diploma, getting a thorough education, because as we've seen recently, when they've been hiring these social media stars to do these journalistic works, you see how that turns out, right? Trust me, I wish all education, all this stuff was free. I wish. But I've also noticed a rise in anti-intellectualism, and it's quite scary. Quite scary.
I understand that school is not for everybody. College, trades, whatever, it's not everybody's calling. But what I don't like is when men get up on here and they like to play the victim game. And it's like, oh, I had all this stuff going on and all this, da-da-da. Your sister did too. Yeah, y'all grew up together. Your sister had the same exact stuff that you had going on, but she was focused. But she made sure she had good grades. She made sure that she went to school. It is okay for you to take accountability and for you to say, hey, I didn't do what I need to do to get in those, areas. I didn't do my research. I didn't go to the career fairs. I didn't go when the colleges came and took any interest in it at my school. Y'all can say that. It's okay for you to take accountability and say that you were not interested. You did not do what you needed to do to make sure that you can get into certain areas. Because y'all literally have sisters that grew up with y'all that is doing it. There's no excuse. There literally is no excuse. It is okay for you to say that you dropped the ball and it just didn't happen for you. Now, if you never tried, if you never cared, that's one thing. But I'm talking about the people that making it seem like it just couldn't happen. Like it was not a possibility because the world was against them. That's not it.
How do you go to college without parental support? Better yet, how do you go to college when you have a parent who is literally making it harder for you?
Here's my advice to you: if your parents is not helping you or guiding you to go to college, or if they're just making it difficult for you to go to college, first thing first, you have to know that you have to break away from that generational cycle or generational curse or whatever you want to call it in order to better yourself as an individual. Let's start there. Second of all, my parents came from Guinea, West Africa to America. And the one thing that I love about my parents, though, is that they did encourage me to go to school. However, they never been through the American educational system. So they didn't know anything about what was going on in school, how to do certain things like math, science, reading, writing. They didn't know none of those things. So I had to kind of develop those skills on my own. And what I did, I went to tutoring sessions. I asked for help when I needed it. I just kept applying myself until I really felt like I got the guidance and support that I needed. Last but not least, you have to focus on trying to elevate yourself. So what I mean by that is, I got my high school diploma, I got my bachelor's degree, I'm currently working on getting my PhD degree, and to top it off, I'm literally networking with people, different people, right? And that is the most important thing. Educate yourself and networking. Those are the two most vital things in order for you to become successful in life. And I've learned that now that I'm older. So yeah, I hope this video helps you, and whoever needs this video, please send this video to them and share it with a friend. That's it, that's all.
The topic is very complex and layered, but I do think one of the most effective ways to encourage more young Black men to pursue higher education is by placing them in Black affirming spaces at an early age. I believe when you're in environments that nurture your intellect, your identity, and you're exposed to successful Black role models at an early age, you are more likely to see college as a desirable path. So when you have Black affirming spaces such as Black educators or community programs focused on Black male mentorship, when you have those things in front of you at an early age, they help shift focus away from barriers that discourage you from going to college, because you have those examples, you have that confidence and sense of belonging being instilled in you. HBCUs are probably the best example I can think of how having a Black affirming space can lead to academic success. So maybe we are giving our young Black men exposure to HBCUs through campus visits, interactions with graduates, summer programs, and they are more likely to see themselves in those environments. Again, I know this topic is very complex and layered, but just wanted to offer a little bit of insight.
I'm going to tell you why Black men ain't going to college like they should be. Too many of them out here glorifying this thug street shit. It all starts at home. Ask me how I know. I'm out here every day with them. I'm in it. They come from broken homes. Where your daddy at? Dead, in jail, ain't around, or just ain't shit. Mama got all these kids struggling, working, not knowing how to pay the bill. First thing little boys do when they see their mama struggling, going through all of this from bad decision making, like I said on my last video. Oh, I got to go out here. I got to hustle. I got to get in these streets. I got to sell a little something to help mama keep food on the table and lights on. College is hardly ever discussed in most Black homes, especially in the inner city, because most Black homes are stuck in survival mode. When you stuck in survival mode, you're not thinking about anything with the future. You're not hopeful for the future. All you can think about is, will I make it through the day? Will I make it through the fucking hour? It's cool to be a street nigga now. Listen to the music. Look at the TV shows. Everybody got the, oh yeah, I want to play basketball. Then you have the young men that did want to go to school that was trying to figure it out. But guess what? Having uneducated parents that can't help them through the process of getting to college. Most parents don't even know how to help their kids fill out financial aid. They don't even understand what loans and grants are. You know what I'm saying? So the kids out here trying to figure it out, making bad decisions, getting themselves in debt. So the only way out for a lot of the Black boys that I know, a lot of them join the military to go to school, or a lot of them join the military to get out of their circumstances, again, because it was so bad, Some of them don't like to use their brain because they feel intimidated by it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, my whole life I've been told what I'm not, and they're afraid to even challenge themselves mentally because, again, no home support. Ain't nobody building them up saying, you can do it. I got you. I'm going to push you through. What the fuck is the support from home? And last but not least, you got those that decides to go the trade route, which is nothing wrong with. Trades is definitely necessary. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I took a trade. I got a CDL. My husband got a CDL. And that CDL has definitely kept us afloat. We've definitely been able to do really, really great things with our kids with having a CDL. That's a necessity. It's so many things that goes into why Black men are not going to college. It's ridiculous. And it all stems from home. I'm not projecting, because you know people, I've been accused of you projecting your traumas. No, I'm just stating the obvious, the truth in which most of us come from. But shout out to the black man that is going to college. I don't care how small the percentage is. Shout out to them, because I feel like they do not get the recognition that they deserve.
So I don't know who needs to hear this, but a lot of y'all do. So while y'all are just here arguing about who's going to college and who's not going to college, who's educated and who's not educated, did we forget that college is a scam? Did we completely just... I don't understand that. When black men and black women start getting to arguing with each other, like, they completely remove the reality and nuance of a situation and replace it with how they feel. Like, for example, when we have the whole 50-50 conversation in the black community, the entire fact that we're in the worst economy that we've ever been in the history of the country that we live in, that entire fact is just thrown out of the door and replaced with people's feelings. Y'all, with this whole college thing, let's call a spade a spade. You went to public school and learned how to memorize information. You then went to another level of schooling to memorize that information in a profession, and then you're now knowledgeable about a profession. Now, I ain't shitting on nobody that went to school. That's not what I'm saying. But your degree don't guarantee you no bread. The people that actually went to school understand how useless their degree is once they got out of school, because it doesn't guarantee them anything. Especially nowadays. Like, we live in a world where college degrees do not mean what they meant 30 years ago. And like, ladies, like black women, right? This is going to be one of those moments you don't like to hear what I'm about to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. If all of y'all are the ones that are going to college and getting educated, right, that would translate over. It would. But somehow, black women are the second poorest demographic in the country that we live in. Again, that's not to shit on nobody. That's the truth. Look it up. Google it. If college was the flex that y'all swear up and down it was, the money would translate over. And the money is obviously not translating over.
Black men in education and why a lot of us aren't going to college. I honestly think this is a really interesting topic, especially since I'm such a big proponent of education myself. Black women are some of the most educated people in this country, and they already understand the importance of education. Education is a means for upward mobility. It's how we can essentially ascend into the middle class. And it is a way to kind of guarantee yourself and your family some sort of wealth. I think that it's important that education doesn't simply stop at the classroom. Another creator on here had talked about the literacy crisis, and I think that she's spot on. And I think this ties into the bigger issue with some people in our community looking down on those who are educated, making fun of people who show any sort of interest in education. Now, I was fortunate to start school when I was 3 with Head Start. And I realized as a person who grew up poor that education was extremely important. And that was the easiest path, in my opinion, to get out of poverty. I think this kind of ties into some of the red pill stuff that we're seeing online and some of the anti-intellectualism that we see online as well. And you'll see that some creators, even black creators that are men, will say that, oh, education isn't important. Oh, you don't need to do it. It's a waste of time. Now, is education flawed? Yes, we can agree to disagree on that. Student loans, the cost is super expensive. A lot of us are first generation. So, you have to navigate and figure things out by yourself. And going to college, now, while it doesn't guarantee you a job, it does provide you with more opportunity. And in today's day and age, you have to simply just be more mindful about the major that you choose. But that's a discussion for another day. I think that this ties into why Trump is also trying to attack DEI and stop funding towards programs that would assist people or encourage people like us from going to college or pursuing higher education or closing those literacy gaps. For example, near my hometown, there was a program that was geared towards helping people of color, but particularly black students, in helping to close the literacy gap that is experienced between us and some of the other races. With the attack on DEI, a lot of black people believe that it doesn't impact us. But see, that is a prime example of how it does. And they will continue to try to attack programs that help us specifically close those literacy gaps and prevent us from having some sort of upward mobility. With the talk about segregation on here a couple weeks ago, there are some of us who simply want to be separated from white people because of the oppression that we face so far. And I can't fault them in feeling that way. But what kind of where it gets tricky is when you start to talk about Black Wall Street. People always love to talk about Black Wall Street. We had our own things. We had our own banks, businesses, etc. But a lot of the people that are proponents of Black Wall Street today, well, there's nothing stopping us from doing something exactly like that. But the same people that are some of the biggest proponents of it, they wouldn't even be able to exist in a modern day Black Wall Street, let alone a Black Wall Street back then. Because you ultimately need to be educated. And now education isn't the only path forward. You can go into the military, you can go into the trades. But I don't see very many of us going into the trades, and they're trying to prevent us from going into the military. And now they're trying to attack education and prevent us from getting degrees. We need to shift the kind of culture around education. We need to stop making fun of people who decide to pursue higher learning. And we have to stop the, saying that people are nerds, or that, we're whitewashed, or that we talk white, because Black people aren't monolithic. There are tons of different Black people around this country, and not all of us are the same. But this video is getting kind of long. You guys let me know what you think. I could talk about this, and I could talk about a bunch of different other things that are related to this, because I think it's a really interesting topic.
The reason why Black men do not care about going to college is because Black women will still accept us even when we don't. Black women need to understand the power that they have.
I've been saying this for the longest. Stop getting with men that aren't even on your level. As a woman, I personally feel a man should be doing just as good as you or better than you. And stop feeling like you have to pick up where his mother left off. That is a grown man. Whatever she didn't complete, let the next woman do it. You don't have to do it. That's not your responsibility. And stop looking at a man for his potential. And when I say potential, I'm talking about you done met this man off the street. He's not in school. He doesn't have a job, doesn't have a car, doesn't have anything going on. What potential are you looking at that point? You're seeing something in him that doesn't even exist. You like what you're looking at. You like how he makes you feel for the moment. But that potential you're talking about, that's imaginary. When I say potential, I'm not talking about the men that are actively doing their thing. They're in college. They've started their careers. That's the potential, you do whatever you want with that one. And another thing, they're always talking about Black men, Black women. I've seen it all across the board. Like that lady, I think her name is Sarah Kim, and her husband Andrew. She met this man. He didn't have no job, in between jobs, haven't had a job for years. They got married, had kids and stuff. She does everything around the house, takes care of all the finances, and what does he do? Play on his game. So not just Black women, women all across the board, stop accepting men that have nothing. Not college educated, not career oriented, doesn't have anything that he's bringing to the table. And I promise you, they will start putting in that work so they can have something of substance to bring to your table.
I'm gonna be completely honest. A lot of you all are weird. This conversation about Black boys, Black men, college degree attainment, literacy, is very disingenuous. I feel like a lot of you all are trying to frame this like you all are actually concerned about what's going on, but a lot of you all are just looking for a reason to be anti-Black and just push weird narratives about the other side. I know that there's always strange conversations in our communities, especially the conversations Black men have about Black women, but also the conversations that Black women have about Black men or Black boys is very weird. And maybe it's because I feel away because I am a Black man who had a very interesting experience growing up in public school. I have a college degree, so whatever. But why do you all always look over systemic issues that plague our communities when it doesn't fit your narrative?
Okay, we've seen what people have to say about the reasons why some Black men are not going to colleges. We've seen people give solutions to how Black men can be encouraged to go to college. I would love to hear what you think about what has been said and what you think about the whole discourse of Black men not going to college. So please leave your comments in the comment section. Now, a lot of people have said things that I kind of agree with. There are some things that I have questions about. Now, the guy that was saying that Black men are not going to college because they have to look for what to eat and the rest because their fathers are in jail and because there are people put things on the way, on the road that made their fathers go to jail. And I'm wondering, but Black women are also in those families and they have the same experience, but they are pushing themselves to go to college, they are pushing themselves to go to trade school. You see women pushing themselves to do go to hair school, go to beauty school. You see people going to college, go to community college, and the rest. Hey, what's the difference? No, I feel like that's not a valid excuse. I feel like that is just trying to not take accountability for, like someone said, dropping the ball, because it's the same situation that most likely the Black women are in. I feel like it's all about mindset for the Black men. A lot of them don't see going to college or trade school as anything, because they feel like they can get quick buck doing other things that are not really slow and steady. They can get money from some fast means, and sometimes it also is what is seen in music videos, unfortunately, movies and the rest. Sometimes I just look and think, and this is just me thinking, I look at some of the Black men that are in entertainment, that have acquired quite a bit of money. I keep on saying that, how come these men, who I know they probably started from some of the things that the other Black men are looking to get rich quick, but now they are now like respectable in the celebrity world, in the entertainment industry. I just know that, why don't they have like foundations or plans or something that would help to encourage Black men or Black people to go to college? It seems like when they get the money, all they're interested in is the flashiness, showing the cars that they have, going to club, spending money on drinks, spending money on cars and the rest. Nobody says, at least to the best of my knowledge, I've not seen anybody like say, oh, I'm going to go and do a foundation that is going to take care of the school fees of Black doctors, Black men going to medical school, or Black nurses, Black men that want to go to nursing school, or Black men that want to be lawyers, or Black men that want to do this. I'm trying to look or think about any of these younger celebrities, not younger per se, but Black men that are celebrities, like in their 50s, 40s, 30s, that have made it and they're a true entertainment. And I don't know. Now, for the Black men that are in sports, I'm sure that some of them have set up like a sport foundation. For those that are sport people in school, the athletes in schools and the rest, which is why they get a lot of scholarship, and those that don't get from the schools might not be able to go to college. But is there like a separate one that they do for those that maybe might not get straight from the school? I don't know. If you know anybody that has done anything like that, please leave it in the comment section so that I can check it out. But I just think about it. I'm like, why don't they? Like, JC is set to be a billionaire. Like, it will not be bad if he sets up like a foundation that is paying 10 million dollars per year, or he sets up a fund or something that would be bringing money like 10 million every year to pay for the school fees of some Black men. Like, he can just focus on Black men. This will encourage Black men to go to colleges, will encourage Black men to be entrepreneurs and the rest, because I don't think he made all his money from entertainment. He had something that he did that Nicki Minaj is attacking him for, that was like a streaming platform which is sold for like 300 million. With that is entrepreneurship. These are the things that I think that can encourage Black men to go to college and not necessarily always think about how they are going to get fast money. Now, someone was saying mentorship and programs that would expose some of these Black men to the college lifestyle and also what they can achieve by going to college. And I think that is a good idea. That is related to what I'm saying about celebrities as in establishing foundations and the rest can pay school fees of some Black men, which would not allow people to enter debt, and they would be able to fully concentrate on going to school. This is just my thought. I don't know if there's anybody that has ever done it, or if there's anybody that is doing it right now. I feel like having an environment or having programs that would show these black men that you can achieve this is a good thing. I also think that the idea of bashing people who are going to college or who decide that they want to further their education and calling them all kinds of names and saying that they will be poor and the rest, and that they will, and the ones that don't go to college will eventually make more money and the rest, is not a good thing. People don't understand that two of the things that I say that can be used to control a population or control people is illiteracy and poverty. With those two things, you would be controlled by people who are literate and have the money. You cannot say, oh, we will get the money, we'll this thing, we'll get the money any which way, and even if we don't get college education, we don't go to school, school is a scam. I personally don't feel that way, because if you don't understand some things that you might learn in college, whatever degree that you're getting, the skills that you might learn in college, in trade school, might be able to prevent you from doing something and that someone who has more knowledge might get you to do. You might say, okay, I'm getting money, I'm doing this, and then when you want to like advance in your business, you will have to get someone who is literate to help you and know what is being written in the contract, and that person might dupe you because you lack the comprehension to know what's been said in that contract. So I personally don't think that going to school is a scam. Like I said, you can go to trade school, you can go to community college, you can go to university. So personally, I would say that there has to be more encouragement for black men to go to college, from outside and from inside. Now, from the family, from the black men themselves, you cannot always be saying, I would make money without going to college. You need to push yourself. There are so many things that would stop you from going to college, but you need to be focused on what you want to achieve. You cannot be using that your fathers are in jail and the people are putting things on the way to make them go to jail. That is not an excuse. Take accountability for yourself. To focus on yourself. Be self-motivated to go to college, and then things would work out. Maybe not the way you want it, but it definitely would be nice to see the percentage of black men going to college increase, and people not attacking black women for going to college, or the black men that want to go to college for going to college. Anyway, that is my thought about this whole discourse. I would love to hear what you think about this discourse of black men not going to college, or if black men should go to college, if it is a necessity for black men to go to college. I would love to hear your own thoughts. So please leave your comment in the comment section so that we can get this discussion popping. Now, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are not yet subscribed and you like videos such as this, please consider subscribing by clicking on the red button that says subscribe, and don't forget to click on the bell notification icon by the side so that you're notified anytime I upload videos. Now, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.